breakfast and blogging. So welcome to the channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, I have a channel. It'd be nice if you would subscribe and like the video. It's called Witch Michelle, and I named it that because my other friend Michelle, who is also a witch, and I are going to do stuff out on this channel eventually when we can get our shit together enough to make that happen. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the continuing work of my shadow. And so every morning I get up and I draw a card based on my weekly card. And my weekly card was moving towards freedom. And so my question was, again, how do I continue to move towards freedom? And we talked about yesterday how I knew that since that seemed like such a breezy card with the butterfly floating above the grass, that this was going to be an easy thing for me to do this week, but it really isn't. I mean, it's not like it's totally difficult where I'm having panic or anxiety over it. It's just stuff that, is buried, and that's why it's shadow work, and it's coming up to the surface, and I'm going, that's not me. That's not me at all, when in reality, it really is me. So this card, Nine of Cups, is subtitled Mental Detour. And generally in a traditional deck, and remember, I'm not using a traditional deck to do this. This is the Tarot of Transformation. So this is not something you would want to do a normal reading with. This is just to pull a card or two to maybe get some clarity on something that your other deck is not giving you, if you do that kind of thing in your readings. But this one is called Mental Detour. That's the subtitle. And what it talks about is how you're governed more by your mind than you are by your feelings. And that when you do that and you're thinking and you're being more analytical about whatever it is that you're trying to work on, or, whatever problem you have, or however you approach situations in your life, you're doing it with an analytical mind, because you don't want to feel the feelings that you're feeling, because those are icky. Who wants to feel that? And I thought, shit, man, I feel everything. That's not me. But it is. And the thing that my shadow work is showing me is that I am super terrified of abandonment. And that causes few issues in my life. What it causes is me to allow my boundaries to be crossed. It makes me stuff my feelings down when I'm being hurt or those boundaries are being crossed. It makes me angry to the point of explosion, instead of just confronting the feelings right away and saying to somebody, when you said that to me, it makes me feel this way. Instead, I'll just try to correct course, change something about myself to appease the person across from me. And this is a common theme that's been going on through the entire thing. And I know I just started this on YouTube a little while ago, but I really need to upload those other videos so that you guys can see where it came from. And for me, in my own personal journey, abandonment is a big deal and approval is a big deal. And when I do not get those two things, I go into panic mode. That is where my trauma is. And the way my trauma manifests is in serious anger, to the point of I would fist fight with people. And I'm too old to be fist fighting with anybody. And I can be scary when I go off the rails. So it was really important for me to dive into this shadow work to figure out what to do. And feeling those feelings is really super fucking important, because if you don't feel them when you're having them and you put them on the back burner, you're going to feel them later. And sometimes they're going to come out when somebody barely does or says anything that triggers you. And it's going to come out as this overwhelming, roaring anger explosion. And I'm not saying that, you should let your whole life be derailed by your feelings and just crawl into your bed, although I've done that, and I'm sure other people have, because it does manifest itself as depression. You can still cope and go through your life. There's just been a few things that I've decided that I really need to do. I need to confront those feelings immediately. I need to confront whoever has helped enforce those feelings or bring those feelings up in me. And B, I need to just kind of remember, or C, I need to remember that I deserve to be here. I deserve this life. And I deserve to live the way I want to live. I don't need anybody's approval as long as I know what I'm doing is the best thing for me. And sometimes that means telling people that you love and that love you, hey, that hurt, man. That really stung. Instead of, oh my gosh, I don't really want to make them upset, so I better not say anything about this, because that doesn't do anything. And honestly, I really believe that happens a lot in all relationships, right down to familial ones, to friends, to your husbands, lovers, wives, spouses, better half, other half, worse half, whatever it is. When we do not confront things right away, they fester under the surface. I'll give you a really good, for instance, example of this. When I was about 6 years old, my mother put me in dancing school. And I don't know what this woman was thinking, the one that was teaching me. I don't know if it has anything to do with me or not. But she was trying to show me how to do something. And in the middle of showing me how to do it, when she looked at me, she rolled her eyes. And I was like 6. I was like 52 years ago. And I still remember that woman rolling her eyes at me. And the thought that crossed my mind in that moment as a 6-year-old child was, I suck at this. And I got in the car and I looked at my mother, and I still remember this, and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't bring me back here. I'm not doing it. I mean, down to my little pink tights that I was wearing that day. I remember the whole thing like it happened yesterday. And that framed my thinking into, I have no rhythm. Then on top of that, my mother reinforced that by saying those words to me. My poor kid doesn't have any rhythm. My mother was a dancer. My mother had tons of rhythm. I never thought that I did. And I later in my life went to a drum circle, and I had a really great person that stood next to me when I was first drumming, and I was very nervous because he was very good at what he did. But I told him that, and he told me that was garbage, and he knew it was garbage because he saw me tapping my foot to the beat. So yes, you have rhythm, dummy. You just don't believe you have rhythm. And so, it's like Dorothy and the Slippers. You've always had the power the whole time. So when you don't confront stuff and you let it fester like I did for all those years and just kept replaying that scenario over and over in my head, it reinforced a neural pathway that told me that I was not creative. It manifested into so many other different areas of my life. It manifested in arts and crafts. It manifested in lots of ways that made me lose that creative flow. It also manifested in me keeping my yap shut and taking a lot of abuse from a lot of different people and not standing up for myself and not believing that I deserved respect like everybody else was getting in the groups and situations I was in, whether it be by birth or by choice. So I'm learning, and it's not going to be easy. This lesson right here, the one about feeling those feelings, and actually just working through them and trying to find constructive ways to stand my ground in front of people is going to be really difficult for me, because those neural pathways have been carved in me to just go, okay, let me change this outfit because you don't like the way it looks on me. Let me pull my shirt up because it's showing too much cleavage. Let me not drop the F-bomb. Let me just let this guy put his hands on me because he's a nice guy. Let me just be sweet because you asked me to be sweet when I don't want to be nice at that moment. I need to fucking be angry about whatever it is. Or let me be happy about this. Or let me express myself any way I want to on social media. You don't get to dictate on my page. All of those things are for everyone's individual choices to make. None of us get to tell other people how to look, feel, or speak. And if I do that to other people, I pray that they will tell me that I did those things so that I don't do that to other people. I don't want to impose any of the shit that was imposed on me that just reinforced all of the shit that I went through with my parents and other people and friends in my life. It's not easy because we want to please by nature. I think that's just something innate in most of us, that we want to please people. And sometimes we please people at the expense of harming ourselves. We need to reframe our lives and our story and reframe the way we confront hurt and disrespect and boundary crossing in our lives in a way that people can hear us, receive it, and understand that it isn't, we're not saying it because we want to dismantle the entire relationship. We're just asking for you to respect this boundary or this pain as we perceived it or perceive it. Because we want to do the same for you. At least that's how I feel. And I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to cross a boundary with you, whatever that boundary is. I have people that have no problem telling me no, but will not let me say that same thing to them. It's just not right. And it's just not fair. And it's just not something I'm going to stand for any longer in my life. And neither should you. So anyway, go make it a good day.